Hi y'all. Happy Monday. I am resting after working a lot. I work a couple server jobs. I'm a Reiki practitioner and have clients. In addition to working with building bridges and facilitating trainings and preparing for those trainings, we just had a 2-day, you probably have seen on here, a 2-day training we just completed called Rooted. And now we're preparing for Uprooted, November 8th. It's a full day training specifically on white supremacy culture and whiteness and how to look that in the face with our really great experiential learning opportunity that our posture offers. I am sitting here preparing for Rooted and also, or Uprooted, and also reflecting on Rooted and reflecting on how the white people showed up in that 2-day training, including myself. And I was working on a post that will be popping up here around perfectionism. If you haven't seen before, there is a document out there that was created by Tema Okun around white supremacy culture characteristics and how those show up in people and in organizations. And it is a document that we use in our trainings. And one of the characteristics is perfectionism. Another one is there's only one right way. Another one is either or thinking or binary thinking, as well as fear of open conflict and right to comfort. And all of those, including a sense of urgency and defensiveness, all showed up over a course of 2 days. And I sit in empathy for the white folks in the room that this was new learning for them. This was a new layer of experience around these concepts. And I'm also holding some anger and frustration in that as well. And how it continues to show up within myself, even though I know about these concepts and they're something that I want to stay aware of and be better about. They still take over me. I am thinking about the adults in the room who were worried about getting it wrong, who were worried about that there is a right or a wrong way, who were not able to receive feedback when it was pointed out that when a discussion was opened and there was only 10 minutes available, that within those 10 minutes, who took up the space? 2 white men and a white woman, and the POC in the room were not able to share or did not share for whatever reason. And so when the facilitator pointed that out, it was a huge moment. And for me as a facilitator, a huge moment of this is some realness. This is some good learning here. This is where the aha is for us in building bridges, of creating experiential opportunities and a lot of discussion to practice communication skills and to really utilize the room, utilize the group as a little microcosm, a microscope of society, of life, of why are you interacting or experiencing or being in this room the way that you are, and how does that play into white supremacy culture and whiteness culture? And if you're doing it here in this group, then what does it look like when you're at work? What does it look like when you're at home? And so it's, to me, when I experienced it as a participant, it was deep learning that I only was able to continue to uncover afterwards and reflect on of, oh yeah, how was I acting and or not interacting at all in this training. I think folks are often, when they go to trainings, they're used to being given information and then just take in that information and maybe given answers or action steps, and that's not what we do. And so often folks look to the facilitators to be doing the work that actually they, as participants of this group, should be doing or could be doing. We have group norms, and the way that it's set up, it's to really kind of push people to realize that there are still layers of untapped or unaware, that they're unaware of certain things that still show up within them and how they interact with people, and especially in a group. And so a constant theme throughout the 2 days, again, was perfectionism, this idea that I don't want to do it wrong, as well as, this idea that there is a right or a wrong. When we did our workshop, we do this one workshop where it does kind of bring people through a binary and to think about either or thinking, and folks just hated it. They hated it and couldn't believe that we were putting them through that experience, and we're actually like flat out mad. Like, why are we at a training where this is the type of experience you're bringing us through? And they got mad at us as facilitators when they're actually mad at this concept, the social construct of right or wrong, black or white, either or. No one in the room liked having to choose one side or the other, but that is essentially what our systems do. That is essentially what white supremacy culture, how it shows up. So I am here, and I'm going to continue to post around all of these different characteristics and how they show up. More to like define them to you, and then 2, I will continue to come back and share them, whether by video or through a post, through written word. But I am here thinking about how perfectionism shows up in my life, how getting it right, how looking to authority figures for my next step. There was a white woman who throughout the 2 days came to me and was basically asking my permission of like, I have a coffee mug. Can I hold my coffee for this next workshop? And I kind of shrugged and like, what is it that you're looking for from me other than affirmation or like that there is a right or wrong way? She eventually too was asking me about if she could leave to go take care of her dog for lunch. And again, what is the underlying fear there? Why not just take care of your needs in the way that you need to do? There was a lot. And how does perfection show up in you? How does it show up in your day in and day out? Where are you at on the continuum of receiving feedback when you are wrong, when you do make a mistake? Are you able to make mistakes and move through the disappointment in that, move through the fragility of that, move through your nervous systematic response to that? How much, I feel like as a kid, I was so concerned about that was where a lot of my empathic characteristics came into play, that I was so worried about getting in trouble. I was so worried about being wrong that I kept myself small. I tried to keep myself safe in certain situations, certain ways, especially, again, around authority figures. Men in my life, fathers, uncles, grandfathers, teachers in my life, any sort of authority figure. just how much I mean, and as a kid, a lot of that is, I think, a part of growing up. But I think that's part of what we as adults have to do to unlearn, that we're not the all knowers, the all, we're still human beings. We're complex. We're perfectly imperfect. And we can make mistakes, we can fuck up, and we can own them and apologize for them, and we can show up in an authentic way that doesn't feel like you're discounting the youth or the person in your life. Yeah. Like, and how does perfectionism even just show up in our culture of kind of gossiping, of separating ourselves from other people in terms of their inadequacies and their perfectly imperfect ways that they are and show up? And how does the perfectionism show in terms of just also wanting to separate yourself or other people to make yourself feel better? I'm just reading this worksheet on around perfectionism, and I've seen this so many times, and I've interacted with it in many different ways, and it's just something that I can't ever stop coming back to or reflecting on. That is my belief. And I think this also shows up too of like why I believe so much in restorative justice and restorative practices in schools, that our mistakes are, we don't need to own or hold or keep our mistakes. Making mistakes is a part of being a human, and it's so easy to let someone's behavior or mistakes stick with them, to hold them in one way of like we only see that person because in that mistake, instead of offering them opportunities to learn or apologize or to repair harm and then move on. How can we develop a culture of appreciation, develop a learning organization where it is expected that everyone will make mistakes and those mistakes offer opportunities for learning, to create an environment where people can recognize that mistakes sometimes lead to possible results, that we can separate the person from the mistake, and when offering feedback, always speak to the things that went well before offering criticism. Ask people to offer specific suggestions, that being your own worst critic does not actually improve the work, and it does not help you or the group to realize the benefit of learning from mistakes. What's your relationship with mistakes? What is your relationship with perfectionism? How does this show up with you, within you, and within your life? How does this correlate with binary thinking, that there is a right or wrong way, that there is a good or bad, and that if you do one thing, then that means you're this thing? That if you've made one mistake, that you are inherently bad the rest of your life? And therefore can't ever shake it off or move on from it? How can we show more appreciation for the people around us and for what we are here to offer ourselves as individuals, as souls on a journey here?